Okay, so now I'm starting the recording. These are 6 fundamental rules that I want you to follow. There are many rules, and all the trainers on internet, right from Jay to Liz to all the new trainers which have cropped up, have their own methods and suggestions. What I believe in is that it is more about learning very quickly and applying it. That is why I call it as ASAP. ASAP stands for as soon as possible and as skilled as possible. So your purpose should be to get as skilled as possible as soon as possible. Do not really focus on marks at this point in time when you are preparing. Your purpose should be to get as skilled as possible. If you develop those skills, you will automatically get very good bands, isn't it? When you say writing is a problem, when you say speaking is a problem, it is the lack of skill which is the problem, isn't it? So if you break it down into certain skills, let's say if we talk about writing, how to write introduction, how to write body, how to write conclusion, how to generate ideas, then it becomes something which is achievable. Then it becomes like some milestones that we want to achieve. So if I'm taking a journey from Indore to Delhi, let us say, then I need to touch certain milestones. I have to reach to, let us say, a place called as this, then maybe Devas. I can just name a few, or a few places which will be there on the. So I have to touch certain milestones if I'm moving from point A to point B. So let's not call something as problem. Let us call it as some milestones that we want to touch in the journey. So it will become very easy, right? And the technique is ASAP, which is as soon as possible and as skilled as possible. Another fundamental principle that what I want you to consider is eat less, digest more. What we do is we try to do a lot of things on the same day. Please don't try to eat less and digest more. Do small things again and again rather than doing lots of number of times. Like many people say, how many tests should I do before clearing IELTS or before going for the IELTS test? It's not about how many tests you do. It's about how many tests you do very thoroughly. So even if you do 4 or 5 tests very thoroughly, it is good rather than doing 40 tests haphazardly. I've seen people preparing for IELTS for 1 year and not clearing it. I've seen people doing it in 15 days and clearing it. The difference is how quickly you learn the skills. It is not something that you have to cover, it is something that you have to imbibe and learn. First precision, then speed. Do not run after precision first. I mean, speed first. Oh, I have to do it in 1 hour. Don't do that. First, try to develop precision in certain aspect of whatever you are learning, whether it is writing or speaking. Like, for example, if I give you an essay and I tell you that it is less than 6 bands or it is like 6.5 bands, don't write a new essay till the time that particular essay reaches to 8 bands, and you force me to say that it is now 8 bands. Nobody in the world can give less than 8 bands on this essay. So first precision, then speed. What we do is we do not complete one particular task completely and we try doing something else. It's like I'm learning a car, and every day I take a new car. One day I take Maruti 800, second day I take Centro, third day I take I-10, fourth day I take here Honda City, fifth day I take some other car. I'll not learn, isn't it? I should use the same car on the same road for maybe 5-10 days till the time I develop that system of driving. Prepare, practice, and perform. This is again very important. First, focus on preparation, then on practice, then on performance. Your marks would not come in 2 days or 3 days. Whatever 3 days we are learning, it is more about learning the strategies. So don't think that we will be able to accomplish 8 bands in 3 days itself. What we are going to learn are the strategies which will take you to 8 bands eventually. Follow this sequence: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. First, develop proficiency in listening and reading. These are two input oriented skills, or what we call as receptive skills, where you are getting something and answering. So, all the questions, I mean, it's not something which you have to give from your mind. Something is already present. You have to validate the information from the spoken content or the written content and answer things. So, this gives you a chance to uh, develop certain skills of presentation which you can use in writing and speaking later. Listening and reading, can give you the foundation to develop writing and speaking. Many people say, like we were saying, we were not good at writing and speaking. We find problems there. Where will you get the best piece of writing? If you want to develop writing, where will you get very, very good content for writing? Isn't it there in the Cambridge books itself? The way they write stuff is very, very organized. If you look at any reading comprehension passage, especially the big ones, you'll find a beautiful organization there. That itself stands for a nine bands essay. So if you start analyzing the reading passages themselves as if it's an essay on a certain topic, and if you were supposed to write on that topic, this would be the best essay. You would produce something which the IELTS people themselves ask, isn't it? Reading passages are given by them, right? That can be the most standard way of putting things across. There cannot be more bigger standard for it because they themselves have given it. So we can use listening and reading as a gateway to develop our writing and speaking skills. How does a child learn a language or a new skill? It's only through listening and reading. If you see, he doesn't even know how to read. The only way he develops something is through listening. Why don't we use the same technique for ourselves? So, writing and speaking, if that is the problem, that is not the problem, that is the symptom. The root cause is lack of listening and reading. If we do that very, very thoroughly, we'll develop writing and speaking. Use a three-tab technique. I'll show that to you right now. So, whenever you are learning something, as I said, first learn these three steps: prepare, practice, and perform. First, prepare something, then practice, then perform. I'm talking about preparation today. So, let me quickly open. Are you able to see my screen right now? Is it shared or not shared? Are you able to see the six fundamental rules which I'm talking about?
Yes, sir.
It's visible, right? Just say
Yes,
yes.
sir.
Yes, it is visible.
Yes, yes, it is.
Yes,
It
sir.
is. We
Yes,
can
sir.
see. We can see.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. So, yeah, so how to prepare and how to make sure that you learn very quickly. I'll reshare and I'll show you something, this simple three tabs technique. So, how many of you have done test 8, which I asked you to do?
I do, sir.
Who did that?
I did Jalpa Mehta.
Jalpa, fantastic. Jalpa, did you get a chance to check your answers also?
Yes, sir. I get 30 in listening
Hmm.
and reading in 26.
Okay, reading you got 26
Yes.
and listening you got 30. Did you also attempt writing?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right. Okay. So let me just first quickly tell you these techniques, and probably this will help. My purpose is to turn you into your own coaches after 3 days. So if you know certain techniques, probably you would be able to use them in a disciplined manner and learn a lot of skills related to IELTS. So let me share the screen one sec again, very, very quickly. There we go with this. There's the book. Are you all able to see the book right now? This is book 8. Is this visible to you?
Yes, sir.
All right. What I want you to do is just open three instances of the same book. So how can you do that? Just press it this plus button. You will get one more. And I'm opening it in Google Chrome for a specific reason. I'll tell you why. You can open it, in fact, any browser or maybe PDF. You can open it anywhere, but I would like you to open three instances of the same file. Can you see this? This is what I have done. This is tab 1, this is tab 2, this is
Yes.
tab 3, and this is the same book. All right. Now in tab 1, what I'll do is I'll open the passage. So here we have got the reading, let's say listening passage here. This is the listening passage. Yeah. Actually, I opened it earlier, but my system got stuck. So I had to restart my system, and that's why you are not able to see that right now. But anyways, this is how you are supposed to do. Open the test itself in the first tab. In the second tab, with respect to listening, you'll find that the end of the book, there are transcripts given. Have you all seen the transcripts at the end of the book? How many of you have seen transcripts? How many of you have got chance to see transcripts for the listening passages? How many of you know about it? Nobody?
Yeah, it's always there at the end of the PDF files.
Fantastic. Did you get a chance to read those?
Not really, actually, but
Okay. So this is something which is a blessing in disguise, I tell you. See, the biggest problem with listening is that they speak so fast that sometimes we misinterpret the words or we misinterpret the message, isn't it?
Yes.
But and that's the problem with listening, that they speak only once, and since they speak only once, it becomes a problem to flow with the content there.
may I ask a question?
Please go ahead.
How do you deal with MCQs with listening?
Okay, I'll come to that. I'll come to each of those today, but I want to go in a little on a sequence. Just park that question for a while. Okay, so
Sure.
this is the transcript. So I want you to open three tabs together. This is the first tab, this is the second tab, and this is the third tab. I'll quickly take it down. The third tab is the answer. See, good artists copy and great artists. Good artists copy and great artists. I don't say this, this is what Picasso said. Good artists copy and great artists simply steal. I want you all to become stealers, you know. Steal the technique, steal the right ways, all the problems will get solved. Every question that you have has already been answered by someone, right? We just have to copy the technique. One particular technique which works fantastically well with listening is the technique telling you today. It is called as a three-tab technique. What is three-tab technique? Open the same test, three instances of the same test. In the first instance, have the questions. In the second instance, have the transcript. In the third instance, have the questions. All right? Open the questions. Open the answers. I'm sorry. Now, when you do this, now this is to be done only when you have done the test once. So once you have done listening and you have marked yourself, you have seen that you scored 26, 27, whatever in that, how to check it? See, learning does not happen when you take the test. Learning happens when you check the test. The right way to check the test can help you learn a lot of things about the test, which we'll see now. Let me come to your question straight away now to answer it first. All right. How do you deal with MCQs? Now, as far as listening is concerned, they speak about all the points which are mentioned in the listening, especially in the last section. I'll come to the last section straight away, which is a little challenging. First few sections are quite straightforward. Have you seen that? Who was asking that question? Can I know your name, please, very quickly?
Yes, yes, I am Zeenat. I asked that question.
So, Zeenath, have you done some listening tests, and you must have faced these problems while doing listening, right?
Yes, I tried from book 5, not from book 8, honestly.
Okay.
Um, so that's what I had a difficulty, and that's the reason I've been very curious to know that what could be the remedy. See, for the shorter MCQs, it is okay sometimes, but when it comes to the longer ones,
Yeah, so
what
that's
is
what
the
I'm
idea
coming
about
to.
it? So,
These are the bigger ones. I'm coming straight to the most complex ones, which is in section 4 or section
exactly.
3 sometimes. I'll take you through
Okay,
this. I
yes,
think this is something which is the ideal candidate for this question.
right,
Yeah, so
right.
field trip proposal, and we have got all these questions 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. What I'll
Yes,
do is after doing the test, I'll check it the way I'm checking right now. Can you see some notes written here?
yes,
Yes.
All right. Now let's see. I'll take you through the transcript. So these are the question numbers 21, 22, 23, and 24. All right. So I'll straight away go to question number 21 here. So this is question number 21, right? I'll just read this part. I'll expand my window and I'll read this tutor, Sandra, tutor, this much so that I understand the context. All right. Right, Sandra, you wanted to see me to get some feedback on your group's proposal, the one you are submitting for the Geography Society field trip competition. I've had a look through your proposal and I think it's a really good choice. In fact, I only have so some kind of field proposal, some kind of student tutor interaction is going on. I don't have to really pay too much attention to it, but I just have to understand the context. So the tutor is giving some kind of feedback to the student, is what I get. All right, now let me come to the point. And I have made a few notes on the proposal about things which could have been better sequenced. So the tutor has a problem with the sequencing of the information. Is that right?
Okay.
He says could have been better sequenced. Now, this is question number 21. If you go there, see the way they have written it. Should be reordered in some parts. Can you see the connection between better sequenced and reordered? You have to reorder something,
Yes,
which means
it's
you have to
a
put it exactly. So they
yeah, so
paraphrase the
synonym means
information.
paraphrased it. Yeah,
What we do is when somebody says you should better sequence it, so we look for the word sequence. We forget that it could also be reordered. And this is 90% of cases in MCQs. They just mold or twist the words. They use synonyms and they paraphrase it. Let's take the second question. And say needs a content page, not really, or to include more information, not really. He will one by one negate this. He'll very specifically tell about this one only. Let's go to question 22. The proposal would be easier to follow if Sandra, let me go to question 22 and read it there. See, this is the point. So cut them down a bit, can you? This is what the tutor says. All this information is there, and then he says, cut them down a bit, can you? This is the sentence from where the answer is derived. So cut them down a bit, can you? So what do you mean by cut them down? Isn't it shortened her sentences? Not inserted subheadings,
right.
not used paragraphs, shortened the sentences. Can you see what is happening here?
Paraphrasing again.
Exactly. Let's do one more. What was the problem with formatting on Sandra's proposal? All right, the problem with forming. I'll straight away go to 23 there. What does it say? Listing ideas clearly is important. So listing ideas clearly is important. Your ideas are scattered, which means list them properly is important. Listing ideas clearly is important. Some kind of proposal she has written and the ideas are not listed properly. All right, so let me see the options there. Separate points were not clearly identified, isn't it? Listing ideas clearly is important.
Hmm.
Again, paraphrasing is happening there. Sandra became interested in visiting this particular park through. Now, let me go there first instead of showing you this. So, yeah. Can you just read this para? Just read it to yourself, this particular paragraph. Sandra says, I have wanted to go there. My father, great fan. Can you tell me? Can you just paraphrase it in your own words and tell me the story in your words? What is here in written with regard to 24?
I always wanted to go there with my father and wanted to always watch movies and
Yeah, seeing all the epics. I was subjected to seeing all the epics. What is the meaning of epics?
back-to-back series of some movie or some thriller.
Epic
I
is
don't know.
something which is out of the world.
Out of the
What a,
world.
what a, what
Yeah,
an epic journey, what an
yeah.
epic performance. So I was
Mm.
subjected to, and when you see in an epic, it is a hint that she saw a movie.
Mm.
When it also says shot there. So what made her interested to go to Navajo, this place? Watching the movies, isn't it?
Watching the movies. Yeah.
All right, now look at this. Sandra became interested in visiting Navajo National Park through. There cannot be any other answer, right?
Yes, movies she saw as a child.
And you can validate your answers through the answers given here, right? 21, 22, 23, 24, A, C, A, B. So A, C, A, B. Can you
But I
see?
have a question again.
Mhm.
Can I ask one more question?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, this is the way when we solve the MCQs while during our practice sessions. But what about in the examination when you we are not privileged to have to do this and the MCQs just start and can is there any immediate course live when the audio is
Did
on
I not say
without doing this
prepare,
step technique?
practice, and then perform? I told you, right? First prepare, then practice, then perform. Don't think about performance right now. Just stick to this
Mhm.
place right now. Just prepare it in the right way. See, this is a system. Once you go through the same path again and again, it becomes very intuitive. I know in your
Okay.
exams you are not going to see the transcripts, but you have to convince your own mind that the answer is hidden there, and you have to tell your mind the technique to find the answer. People score 40 on 40 in listening, invariably, many of them, and they go on doing the tests again and again and again. Every test they score 40 on 40. So, what is required is developing this kind of system which makes you ready to score. Don't think about scoring right now, don't think about performance. I'm telling you, you just have to focus on the right method to learn something. So, this is something which really plagues our mind a great deal. What will happen in the exam? How will I do it? So, first, when you are starting the journey, you have to take some support. Of course, that support will not be there in the exam, but that does not mean that during preparation you should not take that support. It should be very natural sequence of moving from point A to point B, where you just discard the supports that you were using, right? So just focus on preparation right now, then focus on practice, then focus on performance. We are not talking about performance as of now.
Can I ask a question, sir?
Please go ahead.
Sir, in between these long conversations, I usually lose my concentration in between when the before the question there is a background conversation there. In that time, I start thinking something else, or so this is the and the while in that process, the main question skips.
Yeah. So see, there are two types of problems: known
Mm.
problems and unknown problems.
Mhm.
What you are talking about is a known problem,
Yeah.
right? When the problem is known, it
Mhm.
is already solved.
Yeah.
All right. So when you know that there is a background information, that
Mhm.
every time, so this is a very good point that you have broached here. And I would like to address this. Look at this. Can you all see my screen right now?
Yes, sir.
Is it visible? Can you see this tutor and the whole paragraph?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
See, there is no
Mhm.
question in this portion. Always, always, always this
Yes.
happens. Whenever they start a conversation, for first maybe 1 or 2 or 30
Mhm.
seconds to 40 seconds, maybe 1 minute, there won't be any question. This is a known
Mhm.
thing. So we can take it as a pattern, and the
Yeah.
questions are
Most of the
scattered.
times, I
Yeah.
I have done this test, sir, today, and I guess 35 questions are right,
Mhm,
and I know I can improve my score, but
mhm.
as I told my problem, I knew in this phase I won't find any questions, but I'm a kind of person who is like fickle minded. My mind easily got distorted. I know in this part I won't get any questions, so just
So I'll
relax
tell
and
you
leave.
about one person who had the same kind of problem. He was very, very fickle minded, and he had some medical
Mhm.
condition about it. So he had some problem. There was a lot of pain in his body. So he was not able to focus on this. And this technique worked with him. I don't know whether it will work for you also or not. He always used to close
Mhm,
his eyes for 10 seconds before every test,
mhm.
and it made him very focused. So I saw this. I can tell you that it worked for him. And he was, it's more about focus, it's more about getting a few tests 40 on 40. See, do the same test once again till you get 40 on 40. So the steps are these. Step one,
Mhm, mhm.
you know, first of all, do this test the way it is supposed to be done in the exam conditions. Step 2, read these transcripts the way I am telling you right now. Step 3, do the same test again. Do the
Okay.
same test till you get 40 on 40. Do 4 to 5 tests this way, where you repetitiously go through the whole test again and again and again, and you force yourself to get 40 on 40. I know your question would be, I'll start remembering the answers after 1 or 2 rounds. Is that right? So what is
Yes,
the
sir.
fun of
Yes,
doing
sir.
the
Yes,
test when you
exactly.
already know the answers? I actually want it. I want you to remember the answers to a few tests, because with the help of answers, you will also start remembering the techniques. The answers act as an anchor to the technique. Why did I select sequence? Why did I, it needs to be reordered? Oh, the word that the person was telling was, it needs to be properly sequenced. So the sequence thing becomes reordered. This must be there in your mind, isn't it? The girl saw
Yeah,
some,
most of the times I
no, hold on. The girl saw some epics which made her curious about the village. Some epics which were shot there. Epics which were shot there gets translated to the movies that she saw. Did you see that?
yes,
Now,
sir.
how will this develop? See, now I'm telling you and you understand it. But what
Mhm.
happens after an hour, after 2 hours, when you just think, oh, I know it, it goes away. You have to repeat the test 3 to 4 times to start understanding the way the test is structured.
Okay, sir.
Your mind will not be fickle when you
Mhm.
know that the dividends, that something that you're going to lose is very important than being fickle. Right now the incentive to be fickle is more than incentive to get marks, because you don't have faith. You don't
Mhm.
know that even by remaining focused, would you accomplish your goal or not. That is why your mind goes for focusing on something which is more interesting.
Yeah.
So when you have this faith, you will
Mhm.
control your mind. When you will get results once, you will
Mhm.
always like to have the same results again and again, isn't it? So once you
Yes, sir.
succeed in something, would you not
Mhm.
like to succeed again? The problem is you have not succeeded even once.
Yes. I have never tried a test again.
Yeah. So succeed once, get 40 on 40, and let your mind tell you that, oh, it is so easy. And then you can tell your mind, I always told you it was so easy. Don't act like a fickle horse.
Okay,
Then you
sir.
will do 2 3 tests, accomplish 40 on 40 on them, and you will
Mhm.
master listening like anything. You will
Yeah.
know everything about listening, because it is not a very difficult test. Just a few words are changed here and there. But we don't use this technique. What we do, we score 35 on 40 on this. Oh, we say, okay, next time I will remain focused. You go to the next test, you score 34 or 36 or 37. You say, oh, my focus was fine. It was not the focus, it was the content. Next time you go to some other test, you do not give yourself a chance to
Yes. I
develop
have,
the
sir,
right
many.
technique.
Yes, sir.
So do the same test till you move to
Sir,
40
actually,
on.
I had tried many. Sure, sir. Sure.
So don't worry. Just rub it off. I mean, whatever you have done has given you some dividends. You have reached to 35 out of 40, which
Mhm.
itself is an accomplishment. But now you have to reach to 40 on 40. So for this, repeat the test.
Sure, sir.
See, there is certain way in which these examiners think, and you have to understand the examiner's mindset. In order to understand the examiner's mindset, you have to do the same test again. All right. So try this. This is
Okay, sir.
good
Thank
for
you.
listening. Now
Sure.
let me come to reading part. You might have done the reading test also, and somebody told that she
Sir,
scored.
1 minute. Myself, Joel.
Yes, yes.
Sir, coming back to the same question, the long MCQs,
Hmm.
I've actually by mistakenly selected the MCQ for the fourth option, and sometimes it happens that whenever they uh, tells the particular sequence,
Hmm.
they confuse with your mind by giving you a wrong option. Then they come back to the ones which was the actual answer. Or over here on the 24th, the
Hmm.
answer was supposed to be a B, but
Yes.
when the actual script was going on, at the end of the day, they say that photographs was something which I really see on the internet. So there, my mind got twisted, and I by mistakenly selected the C
Yeah.
part.
See, you're
So
again thinking
how
about
we need to
performance.
deal with that particular?
No, no, no. Again, thinking about performance. Just think about preparation. Don't think how to deal with something. Don't philosophize anything. Get one question right, get one more question right, get one more question right, get one more question right. Like this, get 20 questions right. You will know the technique. There is nothing like a philosophy out of it. If I say focus more, if I say do this, do that, it won't work. In order to learn driving, you have to drive. In order to learn swimming, you have to swim. In order to learn listening, you have to do listening. Understand the technique and apply it again and again. When you know that they paraphrase stuff, when you know that there is some information which is more important, when you know it is something is less important, you just have to do the same stuff 20 times to get how they try to confuse you, isn't it?
Okay,
Be like a kid, isn't it? He falls down, he stands up, walks again. He falls down, he stands up, walks again. If I tell him that, oh, this is the technique, would he walk better without walking?
no,
So that's what you have to. So first of all, be very clear of your stage. You are not in the stage of performance, you are at the stage of preparation. When you are
preparation.
preparing, fold your hands and learn from your mistakes, and be ready to commit 3000 mistakes. Write them down. The point is that he was talking about this point with more emphasis. When you listen to it once again, you'll find that he was very clearly stating that this is the place where she speaks about getting interested. Later, whatever pictures they intentionally give that information to confuse you. So it is
Okay,
your choice. You fall in the trap, or you remain focused and get the right answer.
okay,
So do the same test at least 3 times, 4 times till you get 40 on 40. Do 4, 5 tests again and again till you get 40 on 40 on them. This will help you to read the mindset, understand the mindset of an IELTS examiner, the way they frame questions. When you do that, it will become so easy for you to get the right answer in the fifth test. It automatically improves. So don't try to be a perfectionist. Be somebody who is doing experiments,
hmm,
because there is no perfect way of getting answers to this. It's spoken. There cannot be one technique which works for all the time, right? But yes, you can always understand 4 tests thoroughly. That will give you a platform to perform in the fifth or sixth test also. I've seen people scoring 40 on 40 using this method, nothing else. Nothing else.
hmm.
Okay. Now let's come. Any other questions on listening before I move on to writing? Before I move on to reading, there was a reading test after the listening test, right? Now, okay, I'll just go to that particular test. Okay, first of all, I would like to generally understand from you the problems that you face in reading, how much you have been scoring in reading in case you have been doing reading, any comments on reading, anything that you want to ask before we delve into the test directly.
Headings and true false.
Headings
Yeah,
and
true
true
false
false
not given and match the headings.
are a nightmare. Okay, fine. Let me ask you a few questions. Zenat, you are from Mumbai, it
True or
seems.
false?
Zenith, you are from Mumbai?
Yes, sir.
All right. So if I ask you, if I tell it
Yes,
is,
I'm from Mumbai.
yeah, if I say it is raining in Mumbai right now, what will you say? True, false, or not given?
It is true.
Is
If
it
it is
raining?
raining, it is true.
No, 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 no. No, I
It's
don't want.
not raining, it's false.
So is it raining right now?
No, it's false.
How do you know
It's
it
not
is
raining.
not raining right now?
Because it is not raining,
How do
exactly.
you know that?
There is no rain.
Can you
So,
see something from the window? Is the window open at your home? Can you see outside?
yeah, but then there is no rain. There
There's
is
no
no
rain.
rain.
You're sure about it. Sure
Of
like
course,
death.
yes.
You are as sure as death, huh? You're
Yes,
dead.
absolutely. There is no rain.
So if I say it is raining in Mumbai, what will you say?
I would say it is not raining.
You'll say false.
Yes, it's false.
Why is it false? Because you have the counter evidence for what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah. You have the evidence. You have a counter evidence to prove that it is not raining. Let's say I'm in Indore right now. All right. And if I say it is raining in Indore, what will you say? True, false, or not given?
So I don't know whether it is raining or it's
So when
not
you say
raining at
I
your
don't know,
end.
what are
So,
you
sir.
supposed to say?
Sorry, sir.
When you say I don't know, in the language of IELTS, what are you
Hmm.
supposed to say? True, false, or not given?
Not given, I suppose. I don't know.
You're right, actually. When
Okay.
you don't have evidence, you're supposed to say not given.
Correct.
So there is a difference between counter evidence and no evidence.
Okay.
What we generally get confused about is counter evidence and no evidence. We consider no evidence as counter evidence and we say false. Let us
Okay.
say somebody says Rajiv Gondal is so I'm Rajiv Gondal, drinks and smokes daily. With whatever what do you call interaction you have had with me, what do you think? Would I be smoking? So Rajiv Gondal smokes 20 cigarettes and drinks 10 liters of of wine every day.
So considering the fact that what kind of interaction we have, so generally false.
Yeah. So what will you say? False or not given?
False.
It is not given. How do you
Not
know?
given.
Where is the
We
evidence?
really don't know exactly. Okay. Okay.
Exactly.
Hmm.
So this is what, our own idea about something confuses us and makes us biased about it.
Okay.
Let me give you one more example. So today it is Holi, right? And there is a murder at some place. Somebody is standing there with red hands. So this person has committed the murder,
But we don't know whether the hands are full of blood red or it's a color
but it is
due to
red,
Holi.
and it is he also has a knife in his hand, and his
Then it
hands
is
are
true.
red. Oh, it
Then
is.
it is true.
Are you sure?
Because we, yeah,
Every
because he
person
has
who
an
has a knife,
evidence.
every person who has a knife and has red hands on Holi would be a murderer.
Not really, actually, then not given. Or either it could be
So this
not
is what
given
it
or it.
is. It has to be not given. We further
Yeah.
want to delve into getting more evidence.
Okay. Okay.
So this is what confuses true, false, and not given. We consider no evidence as counter evidence, and we say it false. You will have
Sir,
to
can I
have.
share my experience?
No, hold on. Let me give you some examples first. Okay. With these examples, you will probably be able to get answers to your questions. Let me just try to address them first. Okay. Hmm, in the passage, it is written. Let me write it down. How will I write it? One second. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
This is the passage, and this is your favorite, something which you love so much, true, false, not given question. All right. In the passage, it is written Sardars. Is there any Sardar here? Are native Indians. All right. This is the only thing written here. Sardars are native Indians. Okay. And in true, false, not given question, they wrote Sardars are found only in India. What will be your answer? Think and write it on a piece of paper. Think and write. Don't just write it like that. Let me confuse you. Are Sardars found only in India? Aren't Sardars found in Canada?
Yeah, of course, they can be found anywhere.
Yeah. So this is incorrect. It should be false, right?
Probably, yes.
No, not no, probably. You have to say yes or no. Not fair. You have to take one answer. Don't be political. It is false, right? How many
It's
of you say
not given.
false?
No, it's not given. I don't think it is
Not given.
false.
Yes, it should be not
It's
given.
not false. It's not given.
So you have learned true, false, not given today.
With where they're saying that that's only found in India. Native Indians could be anywhere, so it's not given.
Yeah. And there's no evidence that they went out or they didn't went out,
Exactly.
didn't go out. So you have to say not given. This is the difference. There is a difference between no evidence. I don't have any evidence. I'll say not given. I have a counter evidence. I'll say false. Had they written and then they moved to various parts of the world. Sardars are native Indians, but they moved to various parts of the world. Then, in that case, what would be the answer? Sardars are native Indians, but they moved to various parts of the world. Hey, come on, true, false, or not given. If this statement is also there, they move to various parts of the world to do business.
It will be false.
False.
Yes,
False.
False.
because you have a counter evidence to the statement I have written here.
Exactly.
The counter. So you have to look for counter evidence to say false. You have to look for a supporting evidence to say yes. And you have to look for some confusing evidence, like something which does not directly point to that particular sentence, to say not given. And you have to have patience for this. Remember that rain example. You can be sure about rain happening in your city because you can check it, but you cannot be sure about rain happening in Thar Desert. If I say it is raining in Thar Desert, where it has never rained up till now in 1,000 years, in Thar Desert for 1,000 years it has not rained. It is right. It is a plain which is da whatever. The question says it is raining in Thar Desert. They said for last 1,000 years it has not rained in Thar Desert. The question says it is raining in Thar Desert. What will you say? True, false, or not given?
Not given.
Why?
We don't know whether it is actually raining. How do we prove? We need an evidence for
Exactly.
that.
The past is not an evidence for the present, right?
Yes.
If it has not rained for 1,000 years, then it does not mean it is not raining today. So not given is something which is very confusing. You know why? What is the reason that not given is confusing?
Because it's sometimes it's an extra information, sometimes not. Sometimes
because
it
Usually we
it
use
looks
our
almost a similar
knowledge.
thing. False and not given looks very similar all the
yeah,
time.
they are very similar. What else?
Uh, we try to give justification by ourselves,
Yeah.
and
Or
we
we
use our old knowledge.
yes, we put in our own assumption to it.
Yeah, your mind is a
Yeah,
pressure cooker.
assumptions is
When it's
yes.
pressure, it cooks. So your mind is a pressure cooker and you have to keep it cool. Yeah. So true, false, not given, done. This is done and dusted. Can I write it? You have to try it though. But yeah, this is the technique. All right, let's talk about headings. How to get the headings right. This is the passage. These are the headings given here. And you have to do Swayamvar here. You know, I call it a Swayamvar technique, where there is a girl, he goes with a garland in her hand and then checks all of them. And then, one gets sacrificed there. This is how this choosing heading happens, isn't it? How to get it right? Can there be a way? Okay, let's take an example rather than go like just talking about things in a theoretical manner. I would rather like to take some examples from the test that you might have done. Hmm. Can you see the screen right now?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's great. Hmm. These are some easy wale passages. Let's go to the one where there is um, some question about headings. So I'm not solving these questions for you. These are some true false not given questions given here. You can take them as an exercise for you, right? This snake oil. I wanted you to do this test, but use this technique now for finding true, false, and not given. So this is the headings question. All right. Where to buy and all this, whatever information is provided here, and how to find answers for headings. That is the question. All right. This is the passage here. What I suggest you to do is use something called as combing. In combing, we read one paragraph and answer questions related to that paragraph first before we move on to other paragraphs. All right. So let me see what kind of questions are there and what is going on here. So for section A and section B, they have already given some answers. Let me just read the answers straight away to know what was there. The origins of the term snake oil is what is said in section A. In section B, they are saying early kinds of snake oil. So I will cut these two. So I don't have to read them one. What is the word? Origins of the term snake oil. This is done. Early kinds of snake oil. These two candidates are not in my list. All right. I'm doing Swayamvar. So these two Rakhi ka Swayamvar is going on, and these two candidates are already cancelled because they are selected by somebody else. Now I'll go straight to section C, and let's see what is going on here. Native to North America, the roots of this plant or purple, this one had been used by used. So they are talking about this used by plain Indians for all kinds of ailments long before this guy came along. So they're talking about history. I'll keep on putting some milestones. They're talking about its use. They applied this to wounds, used it for this and this and this, and this and this. They even used it for this. Do you see this? I'm not even reading it. They're talking about its use. Well, how should I? Yeah. So always focus on this PEE. It sounds funny, but this is very, very important. Point, example, explanation. Whenever you read a paragraph, try to identify three things, right? Could you remember PEE? P stands for point, E stands for example or evidence, E stands for explanation. Example and explanation are useless. What you should focus on is the point. When I say, look at this, where will you look at? Look at this. Where will you look at?
Finger.
Huh?
On your finger.
No, I'm saying look at this. So look at this is where
Like,
my finger
or
is
might be
pointing
like,
to,
currently
right?
on your finger.
So don't look at the finger. Look at the place where this finger is pointing at. All right. All these evidences and examples point at the point. They just substantiate the point, right? So why should I be bothered about examples and evidence? Ask yourself in your mind what this sentence is. Is it a point or an example or an explanation? Focus only on the point. Think about what is the point. So they're talking about the historical use of this plant, isn't it? They use for this, they use for that. How does it matter? All that they are saying is the roots of this or this had been used. So had been used is the past by da 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 da. Long before this guy came into existence, they applied at this, they did this, they did this. All right. Historical use of something, isn't it? What should be the answer? You tell me. Where to buy, what snake oil contained, growing this, how to use, earlier applications. Can there be any option better than this? So I'll take this as a candidate. This looks like a good candidate. I'll select this one. Origin, origin of the term snake oil, not really. This is already gone. I put a cross there. Early research, no research is happening. Snake oil first invented. It's not talking about invention. It's talking about use. Use of this in new locations. It's not talking about new locations yet. It's talking about history. So this is the best one, isn't
I
it?
think it is how to use the echinacea plant. No, that's the point. No.
So how is different? How is you would mix it with milk, you will smear it on your head, you will simply smell it. Focus is important. And it's okay to select an incorrect option. So use combing. What you can do is this. Use combing. What is combing? What is combing?
You kind of unknot your,
Hair.
yes,
And you do it one part at a time, isn't it? Do you do the whole
exactly.
head?
No, no, no. Part by part.
Yeah. So this is what is combing all about. Just do part by part. Read one paragraph and consider that as your universe. I don't want to see somebody ask me, I don't remember what I read. So don't remember, no, forget it. Who is asking you to remember? Keep only this much in your mind, process it and forget it. What is the biggest problem in our life? We don't forget our old
Remembering
girlfriends.
everything.
We don't forget our old girlfriends, isn't it? So forget it, no. If you are done with a particular paragraph, if you got all the answers that you could accomplish through this, move on. Who is asking? It's not see, we are so much conditioned by Indian examination system that our mind considers our memory as our intelligence, isn't it? If you forget something, you are not intelligent. This is what is the general perception. The opposite is true. The more you forget, the more intelligent you will be. So please do this. Do use combing. Read one paragraph, get everything done from it, move on to the next paragraph. Let's do the next one and read the way I am telling you. Talk about three things. Have this in your mind. What is the point? What is the example? What is the explanation? Usually the point is in the first or the last line. Settlers quickly picked up on plants' usefulness, but until this guy sent samples to this place, a pharmacist. So what is happening here? Some sample is going somewhere. जैसे कोरोना का sample यहाँ से वहाँ जाता है. A pharmacist, it reminded folk remedy, initially dismissing this guy's claim as nonsense. So उसने dismiss कर दिया कि तेरा बकवास है ये, it's not useful. Lloyd was eventually converted. Oh, eventually converted. Eventually converted means convinced. After a colleague, somebody tested successfully, treated by stings and da da da. So what is happening here? Some kind of testing, some kind of corona ka medicine, is it working or not working sort of tone. Again, this is important. This brings me to the point which I've written here. Scope, tone, organization, and purpose. If you speak with someone who is a German guy, how would you understand him? You don't understand a word in German, and you are speaking to a German guy. How would you understand him? What is he trying to say?
Gestures, lip sync, I don't know,
Yes,
gestures.
gestures, lip sync
It's the way he wants to express.
is the
So
way
yeah,
he wants to express, which we can sum up in the word tone.
Body language.
yeah,
Body
body
language.
language,
This is
tone.
the tone, isn't it? He says, ah, means he is in pain. He says, ah, means he is very, very happy, isn't it? It's the tone. Ah is the same. So if you simply understand the tone of something, you will be able to understand the message. Rather than looking at the words, look at the tone. Consider the whole thing written in German, not even English. Settlers quickly picked up da 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 usefulness, but until, oh, so there is but and until. And pay attention to these words. These are called as signpost words, which are so very important because they ask you to slow down. There is a U turn happening here. Until this gentleman sent samples to this, picked up on. What do you mean by picked up on? This is some idiomatic expression. What is idiomatic expression, by the way? What are idioms?
Idioms are like once in a blue moon, over the top, raining
Yeah.
like cats and
Why are
dogs,
idioms are called as idioms?
hypothetical,
I have a funny answer for it.
no idea.
Idioms are called as idioms because they are used by idiots. If somebody uses idioms, what will you call him?
He's using an idiomatic language.
He's an idiot. I'm not talking about the language, I'm talking about the person. So somebody who uses idioms is an idiot. All right, so idioms are some expressions which mean something else from their literal meaning, isn't it? They try to say something else, over the moon or whatever. So you're not physically going to the moon, literally going to the moon. Settlers quickly picked up on. Picked up on means finds fault, found fault with. When you pick on someone, you are actually finding fault with something. This is idiomatic. This is idiotic. Settlers picked up on plant's usefulness, but until this gentleman sent some samples somewhere, finally they were convinced. So what is happening here? Some bad story which turned into a good story. Some kind of, like, they were skeptical about it and then they became quite confident about it, isn't it? So let me go to the headings. What should be the answer to this one? Where to buy, snake oil contain, growing, how to use, earlier applications, origin of the, this one I have already done, I'll cross it. Origin of the term, early research into effectiveness. This early research into effectiveness, maybe this one, sample research. I get some evidence here, early research into effectiveness, because effectiveness is also proven. So this is one candidate. I'll still read others. How snake oil was first invented. It's not about invention and first invention. Use of this in new locations. I don't know. New locations they are not speaking about. So I'll say this one also may be, but this one seems to be better. Modern evidence, not really modern. Early kinds of snake oil, not kinds of. They're not talking about different types of snake oil. I'll pick up these two for an answer right now till the time I get her a better choice for this one. मेरी इस बेटी के लिए मतलब ये दोनों उस particular paragraph के लिए both of these options are good for the time being till I find a better option for this one. I'll say plus and I'll write down D here, and I'll say minus and write down D here. The probability of this one is higher, so I'm just writing it for the time being. This is how I'll go, and this is what I call as combing. All right. So how to find the headings? Use combing. What is combing? Read one paragraph at a time. When you read the paragraph, what should you focus on? Three things. What are the three things? Point, example, explanation. Focus only on the point, and keep on selecting the options from the given list. And even if two options match, mark both of them. You can cancel one later. Don't force yourself into believing in something until unless you have full evidence for it, right? You can always choose two options right now, right? Because you still have time. Move on, zip through the whole lot of paragraphs this way. You put on headings there, you will automatically get, oh, this one is better for this one. Finish it. And combing also means that you should also do other questions related to that paragraph. So when you read a paragraph, what is that? You do an investment. After doing an investment, there should be some returns, right? You want higher returns or lower returns of your investment? When you invest something, do you want high returns or low returns?
Hi.
High, right? So once you read a paragraph, do all the questions related to that paragraph. Go to other questions also and see whether you can answer a few of them. This way, you will be able to answer multiple questions by reading one paragraph. This is what combing is. All right. So yeah, your true false not given, headings both parts answered. I've just given you some techniques, right? You have to do a
So,
lot of practice to make sure that you come up the learning curve and apply them like a pro.
sir, just a minute. I just want to park you here itself. The one which you have shown,
Hmm.
uh, maybe the heading would be seventh, or maybe it would be on ninth.
Yeah.
So, if you come up a scenario where you have actually solved everything,
Hmm.
and this is the scenario where you have now been confused, which option you should take,
Yeah, that's a
and
good
this
question.
happens
Give
most
marks
of
to
the
it.
time.
Give marks to both the options based on the evidences. Like, for example, if I have to give early research, yeah, it is talking about research because they are talking about a pharmacist. So the word pharmacist matches with research. Into effectiveness, yeah, so they are talking about effectiveness also. Some disease was cured. So this one seems to be getting quite good marks. Use of echinacea in new locations. Well, I do see use of echinacea, but it sounds like a little far. So I'll give maybe 6 out of 10 to this, and this one 7 out of 10. And I'll go with a little doubt in my mind, but I'll still select this one. So give marks to it. Become a little more objective, you know?
Parts by parts,
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So, yeah. Which other questions are there in reading? We are done with this. Let's go to writing now. Okay. So, how to delve with the writing portion is the question. The writing, somebody said writing is a big problem. How to how to develop proficiency in writing? What is the best way? So, I have an answer for you. For these tests, if I give you the answers, you read the, see, as I said, I want you to consider this. First, prepare, then practice, then perform. So consider yourself at this stage. If you jump it to practice and performance, it will be a problem. You consider yourself at this stage right now. Please don't think about performance, that I'll get a passage, I'll get a topic, and tomorrow I'll write it and I'll score 8 points. No, it won't go, it's not going to happen. So, first of all, it is very important to understand if we are facing some problem somewhere, let's not talk about performance. You know, let's talk about preparation and practice. So, how to prepare and practice for writing is the question. Now, as I said, for these sections, for listening also, do the same test till you get 8 on 8 or like 40 on 40 on it. I want you to do the same thing for this one also. If I give you an answer, if I let me, instead of, yeah, here is the So here there is a letters tutorial. I'm going to send it to you today. It has got all the letters compiled in the order of the type of letter. Like, they are categorized based on the nature of the letter. Like informal letters, all of them are at one place, formal are at one place, and semi-formal are at another place. So these three types of letters are there. And this document pretty much has samples for all the different types of letters you might get in your exam. So when you go here, this is the question and the answer to it. You have recently moved to a different house or apartment. Write a letter to a English speaking friend. In your letter, explain why you have moved, describe the new house and apartment, and invite him there. Now, when you write a letter, the tone of the letter is very important, right? If it is an informal one, you have to write in an informal tone. Here, there is an answer to this. I want you to read this answer and rewrite it in the same way, word by word. If you do this for 4 5 letters, you'll develop a system of using right expressions for informal letters. Similarly, for the essays as well. What was the topic there? Today, more and more people are traveling than ever before. Why is this the case? The same thing. So, um, this is, I'll just press Control F. I think I missed that. I'll send this separately to you. I actually opened all the documents before the class, but somehow my system got stuck, so it is lost somewhere. I'll send it once again to you then. So the whole point is this: in order to develop writing, you have to have some good samples with you, and you simply rewrite those samples after reading them. When you read 4 5 essays, when you do some like 5 to 6 essays this way, where you read it and then write it, you understand all the expressions, all the phrases, structures which should be used to write an essay. What if I give you some 11 samples and I ask you simply to rewrite those essays, and those 11 samples cover all the different types of essays which are asked in IELTS? Here they are. So you can see what I've done here. I've clubbed them based on the type of question. You know, you may get a question which says discuss both views, right? This is one type of question, which could be worded as discuss both views, or to what extent do you agree or disagree, wherein you have flexibility of talking about both sides, or what do you think about this topic? All these questions point to discuss both views, isn't it? Are you there with me? Are you all able to hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
sir.
Okay, let me okay, let me just finish this first. So my plan for you is this: if I give you essays categorized on different types, like discuss both views is one category of essays, the content agree disagree is the second type of essay, right? Problem and solution is the third type of essay. Discuss commentary and opinion, discussion, commentary and opinion. Unemployment, these are not problem solution or discuss both views. It's general discussion about some subject. Unemployment remains the biggest challenge for school leavers in most of the countries. How far do you agree or disagree with this? It can actually be categorized as discuss both views also, because it says how far do you agree or disagree. So general discussion essays. There is a lot of pollution these days. What are the causes, and what are the impact? What is the impact of it? So cause and effect kind of essay. So if I give you these essays which are categorized based on their types, and you simply rewrite 3 4 essays of each type, you will understand the language or the template used in each of these essays. So first, what I would suggest you to do is focus on one particular test and finish it. I'm going to send you the answers to these 2 questions today. I want you to rewrite them using your own, I mean, you rewrite them in the same format, same way. In case you have got some questions, we can discuss them. You can send the questions to me on WhatsApp or in the Facebook group, preferably Facebook group, so that it remains there and people can read it. But anyway, you can ask those questions. I will be sending answers to these two. I want you to rewrite them and send them back. Post them there in the Facebook group itself. So this will give us a chance to see how you have written. See, people do lots of things to develop writing. In my view, the best way is to take some samples, read them properly, and rewrite them. Why I say this is the best technique is this: there is a very big difference between you and a photocopy machine. What is the difference between you and a photocopy machine? Can you please tell me? What is the difference between you and a photocopy machine?
Whatever.
We can't exactly do the same thing.
So this is a the limitation of human beings. But with a
It's
lot
not,
of focus, if you
yeah.
do something exactly the way it is written there, what will happen?
So, do we need to mug up the tone?
No, you don't have to mug up the tone. You have to rewrite it the way it is written. Just rewrite it and forget it. Because when you rewrite at that time itself, you will learn a lot of phrases and content. When you rewrite, just pick up some key phrases which are highlighted in the essay, write them separately at one place. So basically, you are picking up the phrases which could be used in different contexts.
Yeah, it's a good idea. So, we can attempt any kind of question regarding to that particular topic.
Exactly, exactly. That is correct. So this way, if you do 10 essays, you would have a collection of phrases and a collection of templates which could be used in all the essays. Since all these essays are written by me, you will find a certain style which gets repeated there. And
Okay.
you can just copy the same style when you write an essay on that particular topic or on that particular type of letter,
Okay.
right? So this is the task for you. I want you to finish with this whole test today: listening, reading, and writing. I'm going to send the answers to these questions to you today, and I want you to simply write them and send them back. How you do one thing is how you do everything. If you become a king of one test, there's a very strong probability that you will become the king of the second test also. You will perform that test also with same efficiency. The difference between you and a photocopy machine is this: a photocopy machine cannot learn, and you cannot escape from learning. Whatever you do would become a part of you. Even if you copy something, it will become a part of you, because subconsciously you will be gathering a lot of content even when you copy something, isn't it? It's a very good idea to copy something in your own words, because when you write, a lot of things get registered in your brain. How did, yeah, so it's just read it and copy it. That's it. So this is your task for today. Tomorrow we are going to discuss some of the answers that you wrote, and we are going to discuss about the techniques in detail. I just touched upon a few techniques today of listening, reading, and writing. There is a whole list of techniques which we are going to discuss tomorrow. Day after tomorrow would be questions and answers. So you have whatever questions and answers you have, I'll be addressing them tomorrow. My purpose, my goal in these 2 days is that you become proficient and thorough with one single test. You should know one single test like the back of your hand. Every single question in listening, every single question in reading, every single question in writing. You should be 9 bands in this test. If that goal is accomplished, that in one test you have achieved 9 bands, you would have gone through one journey or one cycle of achieving your goal, right? You have not achieved it in a test condition, but you know what it requires to reach to a 9 band. At least you have tasted success once with some support. Will it be helpful? And is it a goal worth pursuing?
Yes.
So that is what I want. I want a buy-in from all of you. Please write yes. And I want like commando level commitment from you that you are going to do this in next 3 days. You should do at least one test thoroughly, like 9 bands in that. Every single word in the essay, every single word in the letter, all the answers in listening and reading, you should be able to take a session on them. I want a commando level commitment. Yes, you are going to do
Yes.
it.
Yes.
If you do it, you will, you will learn a lot of stuff which you can replicate in other tests. So this is my very simple goal. I don't want to do 200 things. I want to accomplish one particular full test. I want to take it to 9 bands in these 3 days. And with that, I want to learn techniques. So whatever techniques are there would automatically come to us when we try to take it to that level, right?
Certainly.
Did you learn something new today? What are the things you learned? Let me just sum it up very,
Uh,
very quickly. I'll just write them at one place. What are the things you learned? Let us just quickly write them at one place. This will help us to know what are the things, and it will help us to remember. In listening, what did you
we
learn?
should practice. Uh,
In listening as well
we
as
should read the
reading,
transcripts as well.
yeah, the 3-tab technique. If there is one thing that you should take away today, it is this 3-tab technique which you should do listening. You do the test once first, check your answers, and then read the transcripts the way I asked you to do. Do the same test till you get 40 on 40. What about reading? You learned combing and you learned true, false, not given, how to get answers to true, false, not given. Are you really clear about it? Are you excited about the way we discuss true, false, not given? Do you think you can apply that technique of no evidence and counter evidence and supportive evidence? If there is no evidence or incomplete evidence, you are going to say not given. If it is counter evidence, you will say false. If there is supportive evidence, you will say true. So look for this. This is what we learned about true, false, not given. We also talked about headings, how to find headings. For this, I asked you to remember PEE. What is PEE? Point,
Point,
example,
example,
explanation. Focus only on the point. Example and explanation are like the finger. They point at something, but you are not supposed to look at the finger. You are supposed to look at the place where finger is pointing to. We read about writing also. We studied that for writing, we have to have some samples and we simply have to read them and rewrite them, understanding the key phrases used there. All right. So this is what we learned. Thank you for attending. Tomorrow we are going to meet the same time, and I want you to finish test one thoroughly. And maybe listening, you will do multiple times. Reading, you should be clear. Be ready with your questions. We are going to discuss all of the techniques tomorrow. So hope this was useful to you. Thank you so much.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.